That's Bill Johnson. And across there, Holger Glinnicki. It will be Canada in the black warm-ups, but ultimately they'll be in their red playing tops, now being introduced out onto the floor. And number 5 right there is the lady really to be looking for, the captain, Janet McLaughlin. She's 39 years of age, and there her running mate, that is Ouellette. The two of them really set the table. They drive the ship for Canada, and with a couple of victories so far and a tight group shaping out, they're only going to have the 4 games, so this, the third for each of them. This is make or break time, just to make sure. You don't want to leave anything to chance coming down to qualification criteria. Obviously a head-to-head matchup will matter, and overall points scored, the plus and minus of the points for and against. The Canada, they got the utilization of all of their personnel in their last matchup, and every player scoring as well. They've got balance and distribution, but so the Germans do as well. They'll make their way now out onto the floor, and 4.5, that's Marika Miller, one to be looking for, number 4. She's got a 4.5 classification. Zayen, very handy as well. Schoenman, number 10, she's another 4.5. She's 33 years of age, and right through this lineup, they got Marina Monin. She is the captain, the 37-year-old, and she'll be number 14, just coming into the screen here now, and then rounded out by Barbara Gross. She's the younger part of this team, 22 years of age, so just over an average age of 30 for Germany, just under for Canada, that age of 30 years, as both teams have been now introduced. And for the playing of the national anthems for both sides, it'll be the Canadian national anthem first.
Senhoras e senhores, o hino da Alemanha.
And the coaches equally exchanging pennants and the pins as well. This is a very genuine moment. I comment on it every time. You can't help but not. It just helps remind you of the most important element of competition, and particularly here in the Paralympic Games. It's all about humanity. It's all about the triumph of the human spirit and the ability of these athletes being celebrated under the gaze of the watching eyes around the world. They really are an inspiration in how they conduct themselves both on and off the court, and particularly on the court. It's such a metaphor for life. In the way these athletes, when upended, they are as quick up as any you'll ever see. There really is no standing on ceremony. They just want to compete, and they're up against the best. It's Germany with Miller, one to be looking for, number 4. Patzval is pretty handy as well, number 7. Schoenman, 10. She's a threat, but this is the captain show. Number 14, Marina Monin. She has really been able to dictate terms, and there their coach, Klinicki, keeps a pretty tight rein on things, just getting himself settled and buckled in for this one. But this is really a reflection of how this tournament is going to shape out. The Canadians, they have a rich history in this sport, in the women's bracket. They do in the men's as well. 92, 96, 2000, they were gold medal Paralympians. As you look at the lineup now, it's Ouellette, number 7, and McLaughlin, number 5. Those two, equally the youngster, Aaron Young, 20 years of age, number 6, can take care of business offensively as well. Bill Johnson has been a part of this program. He's got a family of involvement in this sport. His brother, the assistant coach for the long time men's wheelchair basketball. Great for the Canadian program, and they're the veteran now of 7 Paralympic Games, and she the one, as we talk about Tracy Ferguson. Those gold medals back before the turn of the century, then a bronze they take in Athens. It's got a little bit quiet in the last couple games, but Canada are a side that are always going to contend for that medal podium. This is the opening lineup. Monin, number 14, and Miller. They will really set the table for this opening 5 for the Germans. McLaughlin and Ouellette back-to-back, and Jamie, Jules, Harnack, and Lalonde useful as well. But if this is your first look, or even just a reminder, every player has a numerical value, their classification, in accordance with their level of function. The highest level a 4.5, the lowest level a 1.0. This is the record for the Germans. Great Britain, they fall by 5 points, but a good score line, doubling up and more against the host nation, Brazil. So a total of 14 points allowed on the floor at any one time as a cumulative numerical value for all 5 players that are on the floor. So a little bit of a juggle, but these coaches have had these lineups and they know exactly what combinations work with which in order to make sure they're playing within the letter of the law. They're always going to utilize their full 14-point allocation. In Canada, with that, to maybe to the Brits, a surprise to take them by 7 points in the opener. And then against Argentina, a pretty good day at the office for them. They just really trounced them with the 73-28 scoreline. And you might just be surprised by some of those, but this is the distribution of opportunity in Paralympic sport as well, the worldwide. And it'll be Canada who take the opening tip and into the safe hands of their number 10, Katie Harnack. She's a 33-year-old player for Canada. This women's side, a 2.0 classified player. There's a good block, the hand up already. So the average points per game, 17 for McLaughlin, 11 in the tournament so far for Ouellette. They're the 2 leading scorers for the land of the Maple Leaf. Germany with the offload, well taken, in good roll to the basket. And this is a play you'll see often enough from McLaughlin. She formerly a rugby player. She likes the long pass. And I bet she tried her hand a little bit at baseball as well, a very popular sport in Canada. And she's got size, strength, and extension. She's got significant power as well. From the outside into Miller. Miller getting handcuffed by a couple Canadian defenders. And this is McLaughlin. She was going to send it. She'll hold on to it. They have 8 seconds in which to get it over the halfway line. They've done that here through Lalonde. And a 24-second shot clock in total. Must hit the rim. Everybody forgetting about Lalonde, and she'll just take the parting of the Black Sea. As through this defense, she tries to travel, but she's lost her balance at the end. Monin, the real strength to counter against the Canadian McLaughlin. She's the captain for this German side. She also with great experience, 37 years of age. She's averaging 19 points a game. And you see the Canadians with these temporary tattoos that they have. Lalonde having them right there across her neck area, such as the patriotism of the Canadians. They love a good maple leaf, as it'll be picked up. The Germans in full stride. Zayen will take it. That's just a little too much on it. And McLaughlin, she just surfs her way past the first wave of this German defense. Ouellette gets her pocket picked for a moment. However, Miller doesn't get away with her wallet cleanly. She tries to give her the quick snatch of the ball, and it's not as easy as first intended, as this will bring about a foul, and it will be an inbound. We're just getting underway in this first quarter, so that won't lead to shots as yet. Ouellette has been measured. She'll go off the front of the rim. And it looked as though from the angle that she was going to try to use the glass, but goes off the front, and both teams, as we see, just the one shot from the free throw line is all that has been recorded in this opening 2 minutes, and that's from Lalonde, the Canadian, number 8. That's a pretty sweet looking number from the outside there, and you hear the snap of the nylon threads as it is up and in for 2. That's Zayen with the 2 points now for Germany. She's a 1.5 classified, a 31-year-old. And this a response from Lalonde. Lalonde right now with 3 points to her credit. And those some of the other athletes in this competition. The Canadian men, now you had a shot at there, watching and supporting their countrywomen. That, just a great sound effect at how taut the rim is, as there really is no absorption. It has to be precise. Ouellette. So the way that they are allowed to keep positive play or keep going towards the basket, every time, couple times that they touch their wheels, they must bounce it, pass it, or shoot it. Otherwise, that is traveling. Well, that's the difference in this sport. They've left alone the German to come straight in. And if they're going to give her that much room, she's going to exploit it. And this is Lindholm. So a couple scorers now for the Europeans. Harnack will just deliberate and consider her options. Ouellette comes up against Miller, and Miller just thrashing at her with that right hand, distracting to say the least. Well serviced and in on the inbound, the Germans. This is Lindholm, who just scored a moment ago. She moves it across to their captain. We haven't seen her really go yet, Monin. She's had one shot at it, but she is just on the outside. And the pass on the inside is followed up with another basket. This for Miller. And Glinicky always looks to be in a constant clench there, in a very strenuous exhale, wanting to make sure he's emphasizing his points with his personnel. There's a feed, and it's right now a little bit disjointed from Canada. They've not been able to really get a rhythm as yet. You've seen in other matches where by this point, McLaughlin will have had at least a couple points on the board, but this is a stubborn and relentless German defense, and look at them go. They swat that down, fast break. This will be Miller, who benefits from her original touch of the ball. And they're double teaming McLaughlin right now. They're having a good go at it. As Miller will record this score, that'll take her up to 4 points. She leads this German attack, and that brings about the need for Bill Johnson to call a timeout. He says, this isn't quite going to plan, ladies. Let's have a little rethink here now. And the last score for Marika Miller, 26 years of age, another 4.5. So they have Monin and also Miller out there. The two of them combined make up 9 points. So then just 5 to be distributed amongst the remaining 3 players. So the strategy and the tactics obviously shifting depending on the personnel on the floor for your opponents. And Canada have not been able to get going. You're seeing McLaughlin, number 5, is receiving double coverage whenever they think she's going to get the ball. An active defense from Germany, but this one goes up. And the shot from Ouellette, it gets her rolling. She's got a couple now. But they are activating very well. They're able to move 3 players and attend to McLaughlin and be effective. And then when she does get the ball, they move one of their 4.5s up against her, and they just are not giving any space or time for her to get into a rhythm. And that has been well worked again to the inside. You're seeing a very fundamentally sound German side who's just executing at a very high level right now. Ouellette. She's trying to get it to the inside. It's Lalonde. Lalonde's got a pretty good pair of mitts on her. She takes that in. Safe hands. But she's just a little too robust as she goes up off the glass, and that just kicks out for the defensive rebound. And Germany once again coming forward. It's the captain, and she receives a swipe while she takes her shot. It's off the glass and in. And the scoring line now for their captain, Monin, has just been activated. She's looking to go to the line for a 3-point play. And Ouellette, it really is impressive just how well they take the ball in one hand. You would suggest that that's maybe a little bit casual, but that's what they need to do. They've got the other hand on their wheelchair, trying to get away from traffic, and that's the same size ball as is used in the men's Olympics, NBA, you name it. So there's no discrepancy or no reduction of size in the women's competition. It's just straight up the same game. What used to be with the Wheelchair Basketball International Federation, it used to be a shot. That really is a moment of pure shooting, as into the game they bring the 3.0 classification. This is Amanda Jan, and she just steps in and takes a shot and gets herself rolling. But there used to be a rule within wheelchair basketball that if you got a shot off and you got it off the backboard, that would reset the shot clock. Not anymore. It's the straight same rules as is in basketball. Must go off the rim to reload up for another 14 seconds. That's if you do get the offensive rebound. So obviously, if the shot is released from your hand before the buzzer sounds, that's the permission for the shot to be allowed. But it's got to hit the rim, and right now they've just had to hit Miller's arms as she's going up. And McLaughlin, a different start for her than in her last match. They played against Argentina, did Canada. And that was a more comfortable outing. Germany just ticking this scoreboard along, and now a half dozen ahead. Monin needs to get her mechanic's license just so she can attend to duties. And I bet you she is. She'll take care of the replacement. Just needs the actual wheel. Here it comes. And it's a pretty simple mechanism just to lock that into place. You see the wheels, the small wheels are bearing her weight right now. And that's just about using and having the bigger wheel on the floor. And obviously much less work with a bigger wheel. That's how you generate speed and cover more court quicker. Miller has been the best shooter in this match so far. She's got 8 points. She's shooting at 75%. And you wouldn't bet against her to continue that efficiency. That is the nature of this German side. Canada have been a little rugged, shall we say, from their shooting positions. It's a little bit hit and miss, and that's why the scoreline is doubled against them. And again, the space made available to Monin. She doesn't need a second invitation. She will exploit it. And Ouellette, one of the two for Canada, really need to get ignited, and they've not allowed it. It's really been, the flattery should be towards the defense of Germany. They've done a great job of double teaming at the right times, and they've made the right reads. And what I mean by that is they've utilized a lower classified player who they've double teamed up against McLaughlin. And whilst they might not have the height or the same size as she does, they've been able to lock her away from that down low position beside the basket where she's going to be able to use her height and reach to her advantage. She's not getting into those positions. Ouellette with the first of two. Canada need to make the most of everything they are getting. So 3 points total for Ouellette. Lalonde has 3. And McLaughlin has yet to score. And Germany are making it a little too easy. Between Miller and Monin, Canada have not found a way in which to align themselves effectively to keep them from having pretty easy looks at the basket. Ouellette, and she just carves her way right through. That was a busy approach from her. It looked a couple times like she was going to distribute, and then she equally just burrows her way through this German defense and then slots it in. Canada need to take that defensive rebound, cannot afford to be giving additional opportunities for Germany. They don't need them, as they just will catch that second one in, and that's the clinical nature. That's so intimidating because you know you can ill afford to be inefficient. And Canada right now with 10 points in the rear of Germany, they're gonna have to improve their shooting percentage and start taking a few risks. Ouellette has the ability to shoot from outside, but when the shots are forced a little bit like that, they aren't the best opportunity in which to get the return of a basket. Houghton on the floor. She was the last player for Canada to score in their matchup against Argentina. They're saying it's not every day that you can get all of your players on the floor and also offensively involved. There you see the shot clock. Gonna need to work quickly. And they do, look at that. That's a moment for Canada. When they were under pressure, Yan converts it on that long court cross pass. And inside the last minute now, Canada are gonna need to hold this German side. They just are having it mostly their own way. And if they need to create a shot opening, they've been able to generate it without really having to go to plan B or ever really thinking about plan C yet. Plan A has been there for them. Ouellette on her own will drive it outside of the Canadian half and into within now 3-point range, so 2 points from here. Thinking about it was Harnock, but they just can't get to McLaughlin, and that really is a credit. There she finally does score. I was going to say for Monin, who has been able to attach to McLaughlin as required, and you're seeing a much more urgent expression from the Canadian center now. Canada, this is important to be able to prevent that almost, doesn't it? It goes off the rim, and that was the up and over from just inside of halfway, and Miller's strong enough. That's the, well, one might even describe it as the fireman's carry, just the real lofting effort just to wrap that from about 50 odd feet. But in the closing minute, Canada take a bite out of this German lead and reduce it down to 6. It's quarter time, Germany 20, Canada 14 after the opening 10 minutes of play in the women's wheelchair basketball. This is Group A in the preliminary round. Second quarter action. And these two teams, they're no strangers to another. But it's Germany who are wanting desperately to lead from the front in this one. They have a victory and a loss. And it's number 2, Canada in this group. Number 3, Germany. And it's the top 4 that we'll go through. But it's about the seeding, who you might play in the other half, as the final positioning of the top 4 teams will become apparent after day 5, when everybody will have played their full quota of matches. This in day 4. It's a move to the outside for Jan. Oh my, she really has shown range. She doesn't get as much floor time as other players. She's just over 4 minutes, but she's got 6 points from it, and she's just inside of the line there. They won't credit that as a 3-pointer, but it's always fun in anticipation when you see the 3-point shooters. They generally strong shooters. They have a good fundamental delivery, as does the captain for Germany. It's an 8-point lead as they just continue to apply pressure. They try to tighten the screw on you, do Germany, and hope that the pressure will become telling, because they don't make many mistakes. But now Canada are starting to find a stroke. And Harnack has just found her opening 2 points, so she played the entirety of that opening quarter, and now 2 points to show. That's only her first shot attempt, so she more of a distributor. And they brought on Erin Young, have the Canadians now at number 6, and she'll just take this rebound. So that dynamic hadn't quite been working with Ouellette and McLaughlin. McLaughlin basically being frozen out. And remember, McLaughlin's had a number of injuries over the last several years. In Canada there, again, Jan is starting to carry this load. She was out for 4 months earlier this year. As you see the play coming in, and they need to get a little bit of luck. They got to create their own luck though, Canada. And Miller, just so dynamic as she just drives through the lane. And that one just goes off of the glass and beyond. It's going to be 2 shots, but the injuries, as we're talking about, to McLaughlin, who's been taken out, 4 months illness already in 2016. In 2015, a concussion out for 2 months. 2013, a left kidney removal, 4 to 8 months out of the sport. 2011, concussion out 4 months. And equally in 2008, a left shoulder separation out 2 months. So those types of injuries, particularly the concussion, which are more and more prevalent nowadays, they will leave you really having to find ways in which to be motivated and at the best of your game. But McLaughlin is capable of that, but probably some of the decision more tactical to release some of the pressure from her by Johnson, taking her out in the second quarter and utilizing the younger arms and body of Erin Young, and just give a little bit of a different combination. Young, just 20 years of age. She's a 4.5 as well. The crowd, they've been sensational. And I can say it in a sentence. Brazilians love sport, and probably 2 sentences. They love a good party. And this has been one big sporting party at the Paralympic Games, particularly in the wheelchair basketball event. Miller, she's almost bankable from there. And I prefaced it with almost. She just comes short on that one. She's been the most reliable shooter from field goals as yet for Germany. This one she rattles around and drops it down for a point. So the lead so far in the second quarter belonging to Canada, 6 points to 5. Young has that go off her body. They get a little bit fortunate here, do the Canadians. But then the decision has been rectified. It's going to be Germany who get the opportunity for the inbound. There was no doubt that Young had a touch of it. And she double touched it, and I think that maybe just deceived the referees for a moment. Into Monen, the fallen German player. And the rosy cheeks of their captain, as you can see, already in full flow. She's very much the leader, just makes great decisions. This is a shot that can't be executed. Gives the ball up when another player is in a better position, but she's got a great feel for the tempo of her team, does Marina Monen. And what's required, there's a foul though from behind, and that, as much as it is a foul, that's also required too. Be a physical presence, don't allow easy baskets for the Canadians, and make sure that whatever they do get, they're gonna have to work for it. And every time you're gonna go up for 2 points, you're gonna end up wrapped around in contortions as Ouellette was a moment ago. It does, of course, weigh on the mind, and it is a consideration. That is gorgeous. You see her really having to load that free throw up. She takes it behind her right shoulder and just drops that right elbow, and those are 2 of the most precise free throw bullets right into the chamber, and she fires a couple off, and they will rack up a 20-second point for Canada on the board. They're back within 3. Some room, really, for Germany. A double team up against Monen into the high key area. They need to get a rebound here, Canada. It's an almighty bun fight, and it's going to go to what is ultimately possession arrow. The indication of a 50-50 ball. Canada maybe a little bit lucky there. I'm not sure they entirely had control of that ball. It was on the floor, and that's a little bit of a reach, particularly when it's laying flat there. Ouellette was gonna hitch there for a shot up in the face of Miller, but she'll hold. What's her options down low? To Harnack, it's rather searching that effort, and they will lose that possession, Canada. You could see that Ouellette was committed to that pass, and that takes away any real urgency to front up against her in the shot. Hindsight's 20/20, but she might have been better positioned to take the shot. Monen, the offload down low. Germany with just good, consistent decision making, keeping the spread and their nose in front of Canada. Canada are going to have a turning point basket, or a couple in a row, a little bit of a run, as they've been in the shadow of Germany so far in this matchup. Down low in the course of shooting. She'll go to the line, and this has been some great support offensively for what they've not been able to get from McLaughlin so far. Yan has come in, and she, 28 years of age, a 3.0. She'll go to the line. She's got 8, and this an opportunity to go to double digits from the free throw line. Harnack now out, and Houghton is in. That won't go. So McLaughlin out on the floor again. Ouellette, they are bookends across this lane. Yan to shoot. She'll get the second one. And that now makes it a even numerical value ahead for Germany. That 1 point ends up being decisive, where each possession can swing the lead, but Canada have not been able to really get any closer than this each time they do. It's Germany who put their focus in and just execute a better passing play. They seem to have too much room, Germany, in the offensive key area for Canada. Didn't see Ouellette the three-point play, and that is encouraging. Patsvall, the foul on it. As Ouellette takes that, she knew that she was going to run out of angle. She had to take it, immediately puts it up. She had been bumped en route as she was receiving it. And this only really is effective and swinging as far as an impact to the scoreline as she hits this free throw. It can't leave points at the line, Canada. And they do again. Miller is going to have to throw on the brakes, but she's always got a passing option to Lindholm. And a bigger target, the other 4.5 for Germany. Schoenmann down to Miller. Miller with the over the top. And is this going to be a change of possession or a foul? That looks to be worked out for Germany. As over right there, Ouellette is down, and are they going to help her up? She's boxed in at the feet of the German bench, and there they get her upright, but as you can see, Germany more focused on what they've got to do right now. And Glinicky just casting his eye over the constant prompts coming from the bench. Schoenmann to Zayn. Shot clock, 10 seconds. That's up, and it's been turned over. And it looked as though it had crawled along their back and got away from them again. Ouellette is going to take on this German team. She's gone through four. She's drawn the foul. And she was slipping right through him like a knife through, well, let's say a hot knife through butter. She's starting to heat up. There's no doubt of that. And there's just a little bit of body surfing. Maybe even wheelchair surfing as she just slices through that German defense like Black Forest cake. And a couple more for Canada. And Miller, she's just bumped in. It's an offensive foul, so Canada just hold. That's Tamara Steeves that just parks it, throws it, and puts the parking brake on and allows the Germans to just run right into her. And what had been a slow starting quarter, they've picked up a little bit of momentum here now, the Canadians. And these two are in an almighty tug of war. McLaughlin hasn't even got going yet. 2 points really on the sidelines. Even when she's been on court, she's been isolated. But Ouellette has come and shouldered the load and has brought this game back level. That last 2 points putting Canada now back and resetting the decks. Ultimately, the game is just shortened. They started level. They're now level again with 4:12 remaining in the second quarter. Now Johnson, much more vehement in the coaching circle for the red and white. It's great insight to be able to hear what the coaches are saying. And whilst my German isn't quite what it used to be, You heard what was said on the Canadian bench about being one thought ahead of what the Germans were doing, and the Germans have been that for the entirety of the match, better than Canada. They have known what they want to do with the ball even before receiving it, and every time the option they are selecting has been available and has been open for what's been in the most an uncontested shot. The Canadians are going to be much better defensively. They're going to give Schoenman a look from here, and she will just massage the rim with the leather. Ouellette, she's looking like she's going to park up for a three. She'll hold, she'll come in closer for McLaughlin, and now they're starting to roll. Double trouble as McLaughlin's just been released from her shackles. And Canada, in doing so, cut through 30 points, and they take a 2-point margin. Well, this coming in to the end of the second quarter, the first half of play. This is very much the ball game. Both teams, as you know, are going to be right in the thick of this one. You don't see either of them relenting and really starting to take it to the other. This is going to be tight all the way through. But this is the first real spell after Germany have controlled proceedings for Canada to put their clutches into this match and lay claim to it. Now they've gone a little bit quiet, the Germans, with their shots. They've missed the last couple. And McLaughlin, who has had a sputtering start, all of a sudden is starting to feel the vibrations. And she's just going to hold, get it back to Ouellette. Ouellette, a couple times, she's hitching from that range. This one, though, will get away, and the strong possession from Germany. Double hands on it, safety first. And Schoenman has got the inward pass to Zayen, but she's being pushed out. Hodson's got her back to her. That's enough, though, to force her from a shooting range that she's not comfortable with. And then McLaughlin with the defensive rebound. You sense that a three ball is coming from somewhere. It's going to most likely be Ouellette. And Ouellette, they're not going to call that a foul. And she felt that she was going into the teeth of that German defense, and that she might as well just take a surge at the basket in hopes that she was going to get the call for her, the offensive, or rather the defensive foul, and giving her a chance. Look at this for Yan. Yan just shapes that into her own team's possession. She extended herself so much that she got herself into the spinning 360 here. And a little bit of the bunny hop at the end. Just too much force against the wheels. And she couldn't maintain her balance. And Klinicki right now, oh, he looks like he's on the edge. As Germany is getting a little bit edgy about, they've been systematically been able to build that lead. They had a 6-point lead after the first quarter, but right now they are 17-9 down in the second. Total score has got Canada out in front by 2. Yeah, and you saw her good sense of humor about the position she ended up in. She really has shown some great scoring prowess. They'll bat that around. Yan will pick it up, back to McLaughlin. 4-5 German defenders. They've knocked it around, and Miller's got great hands, but she just can't recover that one. When you talk about Yan's productivity, she's a 4-point per game average, and she already now has 9. And we're not done the opening half, so that's just showing you she's over 100% above her normal levels of productivity, and she's picked up the slack for McLaughlin. Otherwise, Canada would be in the trail in this one. McLaughlin, the attempt to Ouellette. Ouellette is just stripped. And you see Schoenman. Schoenman's taking no prisoners. And that reaching in, bringing about her own irritation. And you can see that sometimes when the wheels, the smaller wheels, get caught in the spokes of the bigger wheels of the opponent. They do. They want to speed off. They want to use their strength and their power to accelerate, to perform. And they're often getting hindered, restrained. It's all part of it, but it's equally frustrating. Zayan will launch one up. It's a little bit long and strong. McLaughlin's just going to see that go out. Last touch by Germany. And this, at 3:41, I was suggesting that this last passage of play is going to be an indication as to who has really that mental control, the confidence that when push comes to shove, they're not going to break. They might bend, but they've got the resolve in which to make the most of the opportunities. Yan again. That receiving of the ball sets up that shot, but Ouellette just a little too forceful. She just takes that though, didn't she, Yan? It looked the way she had to extend as though she might lose her balance from that leaning over and leaning out. A shot that's rather a pass into the tall option. And Germany are starting to decrease noticeably in their field goal percentage. Their overall, Canada are shooting at 54%, and Germany, who are up in the 70s, are now down to 46. And that one will just get away. So both sides not as effective as they might like to be in this closing few minutes. But there is a window for Germany to score. They're deliberate about it. They want to use the remaining seconds, a little bit of a momentum shift. They're going to have to get it up quickly. McLaughlin's having none of it. The tall maple tree will extend her arms. That's going to come pretty short, that one, but the idea, obviously a good one. And for Canada, who were down after the first quarter, they'll take the lead into halftime. It's Canada 31, Germany 29 in the women's wheelchair basketball. This is day 4 overall, and both of these teams are in their third match, right in the teeth of a real tussle. The field goal percentage, as you see for Canada, the average 52% between the 2s and the 3-point shots. Free throws, Germany a little bit better. Defensive rebounds for Canada, they've been able to, for the most, tidy things up, but they've turned it over a little bit more as well, 7 times. And that's where we'll rest after the opening 20 minutes. And this has really got the chance of going both ways. Canada are 2-0 coming into it, so they've got a little bit of wind in their confidence and at their back. Germany working hard though, and they're going to have to find a way to reconstruct the lead that they enjoyed after the opening quarter. Enjoy the halftime entertainment. We'll join you for the third quarter coming up in a moment. The fans inside the Karaoke Arena 1 have kept entertained and ready for the commencement of the second half of play. It was Germany who took the opening quarter and looked to be poised to be just pushing on, but the Canadians found a different gear, and they have just slightly nosed their way in front by the 2-point margin, as you see. It's now the third quarter coming up. This is the third match for both of these nations, and Canada 2-0 so far. Maybe some are suggesting they're performing above their station, but this is a very deep German team that's got a lot of different looks to it as well. And there's a slow start for the big center for Canada at number 5, McLaughlin, but she got rolling at the end of that second quarter. And some great work as well from Yan, the number 8 for Canada. It's 9, sorry, rather, Amanda Yan, and she's got 9 points. Ouellette with 13, and they really leading the way. And that, again, the possession arrow, as it's a jump ball 50-50, and Canada have it from the inbound. You heard it from the Canadian coaches talking about being one step ahead if they can. Both of these teams very cerebral, good thinking, basketball brains. And they utilize their full complement of personnel. You have to, you can't just rely on a two-pronged attack. McLaughlin from the outside. That's the first shot. And it encircles the back of the rim and caroms out. So she's got 4 points so far, and that's a ways off what you might expect from her. Her average output has been at 17 for the entirety of a match, and that's across the couple that they've played against Great Britain and against Argentina. But up, and it is a score that's level this one. There's the captain. She's Miss Dependable for Germany, Marina Monen. And she's at 19 points. Her and Marika Miller, the two, are out on the floor. They lead the way equally for Germany so far. Ouellette has elected not to shoot from three-point range. She's had one from there and just not feeling it today. So there's a couple times where you thought maybe a look was available, but it feels rather wasteful if you don't convert it, that you take that shot rather than getting a touch to some of your teammates that if they're not able to score, at least they feel activated. And they're there, ready, more alert, more receptive to being relied upon as needed. And now a couple back-to-back baskets for Germany. And that is the opening score for First, the German player. And she's just a couple minutes, just starting in this third quarter. Ouellette will find that one in her pocket. She pulls out a trick, and it's 2 points to level this one. It's threes all across the board right now, both sides. Nice touch there, and they do work it in. The quick passing play, and Zayn getting the benefit of that one touch. It's just a volley on, isn't it, from the German captain. McLaughlin has had to work for her chances. There's been nothing easy about it yet for her. As she takes this one, doesn't let it go forward. That's already started the clock as soon as she touches it. So sometimes you'll see them just allow it to bounce a little bit, and that might just give them more time offensively with the ball, but they've stripped it. Germany have started the better. There's 6 points to 2 already in this third quarter. First being attended to by Lalonde, and two wide open is Monen right there. You're not seeing a McLaughlin get that look, or equally Ouellette getting that unattended, rolling off of a pick and being in such a great position. So that's something that maybe the Canadians need to consider. Germany have found a technique in which to force McLaughlin to have to shoot from those types of positions. She's been boxed in, She has no forward momentum. It's not as if she's rolling towards the basket in a shooting motion, taking her natural momentum. She's stationary, and then has to generate her own power, and then generally with a couple hands up in her face. And Germany, as they did in the opening quarter, have come out in the second half, and they are setting the standard by which this match will be played. 8-2, and Canada are looking devoid of a response. So you see the unique haircut there from Cindy Ouellette. Those are actually the seams of a basketball. She's got the headband though across there. So you're not really seeing it in the full reflection of what the design actually is, but it's going to be an inbound. Lalonde back to Ouellette. McLaughlin stripped of it, and that's what Miller, she's proven the most active defensive player, has Miller. Well, look at her. She's got steals, she's got 2 steals, couple assists, she's turned it over once. But between her and Monin, they both will get their hands in. They've got a couple steals each, and the Canadians have been exploited a few times already with that. Just 1 for McLaughlin and 1 for Ouellette. So whilst it might seem like a small detail, it contributes to the difference of the 4 points. Now it's 6 as Germany continue to stroke it. And Monin, she's so meticulous and effective. Just really count on her as the mother of this side for Germany. Leading, supporting, protecting, and ultimately making those great decisions consistently for Germany. That's a shot though back. Keeps this within check. And it's these turning point passages in play. It is really just Germany just systematically just trying to reestablish that lead and keep Canada in their wake. And now it's a half dozen. And that is Argentina, the women's wheelchair basketball team, just watching from the sidelines. McLaughlin underneath to Lalonde. Is that going to go? I think the foul comes in prior to the shot. And you see McLaughlin having a query to the referee about it. And it's a turnover. Not sure whether or not it was just that she was 3 seconds in the key, and we'll just confirm. It is 3-second violation. That's exactly what the call is. In the key, and that was a turnover assessed against McLaughlin. So a steal right back though, and the Canadians need it. They need something to build from. They've had a very meek third quarter. They're being tripled up, 12-4 at the moment. And this, it needs to be a quick response. Lalonde though, however, is going to need a little engine in her wheelchair in order to accelerate her hopes of recovering that ball. It's going to, in fact, go for Germany with the inbound. And now Yan, she gets herself suited and booted, ready to return to action. You see the strapping on her left shoulder. She really has shouldered the load in the absence of what McLaughlin normally can provide offensively. It has been Germany's game plans is to keep her outside, and Marika Miller having a great day right now. She is powering through this matchup. And I can't think of a time. She's got 15 points, 75% from the free throws, but also 67 from 2-point range. But I can't think of a time where I thought that Miller made a direct mistake. She has been smart, both her and Monin, just playing the game at a very high level. They're looking to feed it to Monin if she can. Can they find the advance here? Hutson has to have a look. She will turn and get to this one. And Canada have turned it over. This could be a little bit of a swing. And that's Hodson that was so attentive to Monin that she didn't realize the ball was there that she could have played into, but nonetheless, Canada do come up with it. Ouellette is putting herself under a lot of pressure, having to make a shot from there. And she will. He finds that one from what looked to be nowhere. And she just plucks herself an ace and puts that one up for 19 points. And those are the types of shots that can win you a ball game. When it looked against the odds that she was going to be successful, she pulls one out of the holster in the OK Corral and fires one bullseye. Miller with the little hitch and a roll. Yan takes it. The feed now to the overlap. And this is Ouellette. And a response late here in this third quarter. If they hit another shot, Canada will have started to find a roll here. That is a roll they did not get the favor from, though. Just allowing too much time, it seems, in this middle court area for Germany to assess how they want to attack. And then equally enough room to just move into lanes. Miller moves the ball so quickly that makes up for any sort of misgivings sometime. It just advances it and allows players to be in position with the ball longer in order to make a better decision with it. This is Ouellette, who gets the rocket pass from McLaughlin, but immediately she's got Miller on her like her shadow. And that will leave her fingertips and fall from the court. And you see her as she punches her open palm with her knuckle sandwich. She's not happy about it. Now Miller and Monin, a 1-2 punch. They've been a little bit more consistent and reliable. And that's what you're seeing reflected in the scoreline overall right now. That's the over the top and a smothering blanket of Maple Leafs right over this German attack. And it's still going to be the German inbound. You get a sense, though, that McLaughlin is working through the difficulties of an under-firing performance. And she may just, as a battle-tested warrior, have enough at the right time if Canada can keep this tight and maybe be able to just put in a workhorse performance. And that's the sign of a good player. When you're not at your best, to still be effective when it counts. Yan will shoot, and she scores. So she has picked up that slack, and that now back within 2 inside the closing minute of this third quarter. And this crowd or maybe the cloud around the Canadian offense that has been a little bit in fits and starts, starting to be lifted again as we close in. But there you'll see it again. Monin, who just knows how to be in and around the right places at the right times, getting the most from her shots. So effective. And she just doesn't overcook it. She's 53%, doesn't try to be the hero, just tries to play her game. She stays within herself, and that really can't be underestimated as to how important a quality that is for a leader on your team. Just stays the course and being constructive, being diligent, and equally performing in the moments that count most. Lalonde, this is Ouellette quickly, and she's hit it. So the first shot, and that takes her total on the day up to 20. She would have loved that. They would have loved the offensive rebound, the Canadians. They will not get it. Can they control this German approach? This is going to have to be an almighty heave. They're going to get it up. Miller will fire it. It's off the back glass. As you see the red light illuminating around the rectangle glass unit up. And this now, again, it is getting interesting. That was an overwhelming start from Germany, but then the Canadians take a chunk out of it. It's 16-11 in that third quarter, and it's 45-42 overall for Germany at three-quarter time. The field goal percentages, flip a coin. Defensive rebounds, flip a coin. They're really, other than the turnovers, the Canadians have turned it over more. You see that stat. That's probably the biggest swaying impact to the little trends in the game that are indicating that maybe the tidier and more efficient today could be the Germans. A battle between second and third place in Group A right now. Whoever is victorious in this one will take a higher position. It all depends on the overall games played. They play 4 matches in the preliminary round in this women's tournament. The top 4 teams of each group of 5 will go through directly to that quarterfinal round. The other 2 teams, they haven't got a chance. This is a shot, though. They go into the classification for 9th and 10th position. So it's all open once you get to that quarterfinal round. You could go deep in this tournament and put yourself in medal contention. So these games and who you're going to play in that opening quarterfinal, they are massive. And this is what this battle is. It's all about positioning. And that opening shot, well taken by Germany. And now a little bit of room in the scoreline opens up for the Germans to increase it to 7 with this possession. First, a hard-working player. Zayn the same. Every single player is, but they more industrious, and they've just lost track of time there. And the shot clock gets away from them. There isn't a whole lot. You've got 8 seconds in which to get it over, but it's overall 24 seconds to go from one end to the other and take your shot. And right now you're seeing the Canadians employing the same tactics that the Germans have been utilizing to great effect all game. They're just trying to get Monin in a position where she's got to fight to get away. She can't just track this option. McLaughlin. Ouellette comes up, tries to draw a couple of defenders past Yan. If Yan can come up with a shot here and make it count, it's McLaughlin that is so busy working. Ouellette's wide open. She's got to take that shot. She'll get another one. She goes up for 2, and that's just a smart play by Ouellette. She was no way in a good position to take that shot, but she knew that Miller had committed to the defense and the hand up. So she throws it up right through that extended arm, and she goes to the line here for a couple, and she has to convert them, as Canada have been, again, a little bit slow out of the gates to start this 4th quarter. And she won't with the first. And when I say half, it's about confidence. And Canada had brought it level. They were in the lead, but in majority, they have trailed in this match so far. And that will reflect the story in the majority that Germany have just been a little more consistent. Picked up by Miller. She cuffs it and then wraps it around to her forehand side, but they assess a foul against Canada in the act of shooting. those free throws that in the end of this match, they will, in fact, they'll be determining. Look at this sold out crowd, isn't it incredible? 12,000 in here. So Miller, 5 from 6, 83%. Overall, they're shooting 71% from the line. And the Canadians are shooting 54%. There's a discrepancy that could be telling. It's a 6-point spread now. So a couple games per session is on the docket. In this day for this crowd capacity, it has been a really family fun event. The Paralympic Games in general, but particularly the wheelchair basketball, great size arenas. The other one, the Rio Olympic Arena, over 16,000 people capacity, but this one is a little bit more intimate, and it just has had the sense of a party in it. And the families have loved it. The youngsters that are here, they've utilized the whole stretch of the concourse for strollers. It just feels like a great place, particularly if it's a day off. I think a number of Brazilians, even if it isn't, are taking it, making sure to rejoice and celebrate what has been an outstanding hosting job from them as a nation in both the Olympics and now the Paralympic Games. And it's been a celebration of their own competence, and equally, they've been pioneers, haven't they? The first ever in the South American continent. And they are coming through with shining colors. As an overall hosting committee, but they will give this up now, will the Germans. And it's just gone through a little bit of a slow passage right now, as this lead has been there. Both teams just plodding along on the score. Haven't had a lot of open play. This is probably going to start to shape out like some chess, where every move is being made with a counter move in mind. And they both just try to outthink one another. Yan with a shot, that's just golden. She really has been and there you see it. She's tripled her average output. And she's up with 13 points now, rocking it at 75% from the field goal range, 6 from 8. And that's just under 20 minutes overall that she's played. And she is a big reason why this game is still in the balance. So precise and so intimidating is that level of excellence coming from the German captain. Marina Monen now with 18. She's shooting at 56%. It seems, though, that every time she needs to come up with a shot, her side is counting on her. She seems to hit it. This one is a loose ball, easily rebounded by the aforementioned Monen. And look at her work. Just calmly in the course of what she knows how to do best. It's Miller who's come in from that left side with the right hand, and the angle always difficult to overcome. She's in a heap. This has been Ouellette, who's just powered her way forward, and she just catches it in. She takes that right on the German Autobahn, and it's a trans-Canadian point. It's a couple of them. It's now within 4. And a foul prior. Are they going to count the shot? And it really was quick work from Miller. They will. She gets that, and as soon as she receives it, she's already in the process of going up. So she'll get the bucket and a bonus opportunity. And this now 6 points ahead with a chance to go 7. This is where the Canadians have really got to find what is going to be and where are they going to hang their hat to find and make up these points. because there hasn't seemed to be any easy fast break points. Germany are back in position. If they set up in their half-court offense, they have matched up well against the Canadians, and it really has put a lot of pressure on their shooting game to have to be perfect. And when the pressure comes from mid to long range, stuff like this happens. You strip it right out of Ouellette. And Monin just too powerful, too big, and too ready to make the right move. The movement of the ball, quick. The scoring, precise. Again, Germany have just put on a master class in these last few minutes and showing the Canadians just how potent they are. So that'll bring about a timeout, and both teams will collect their thoughts with 5:16 remaining and what looks to be the match. They would go to extra time if they were required, but right now it's an 8-point spread, and that's as much as there has been a lead. So you hear the comments there from Bill Johnson, the coach. He's talking, these cheap fouls are not going to help us. You make contact with a player before the ball arrives. Once the ball arrives, just keep your hand up and do not touch the opposing player, because we are opening up the opportunities continually for them to exploit us. So I can assure you, any of these empty seats is people just going out to get a beer, or they've gone to use the facilities, because at any one time on the concourse level, it's like a caramba out there. There just is a great energy. This particular facility on the concourse level outside is actually outside, it's external. It's got a wrapping around of it, but there really is great views and sight lines, and you can, through open air, see what's going on through the rest of the Olympic Park. So it really does have a real community feel about it, that you could be in this facility, but then also looking across the park, and there's no glass to prevent you from maybe even chatting to somebody, looking out, and then over as to what's going on down below. So a real well-constructed feeling within this building of just community. It'll be Ouellette who will take the feed and the couple points just ahead of the end of that possession. 2 seconds, we're still on the shot clock. It's back within, and it's Lalonde rather. And there you see the celebration. So Lalonde and Ouellette, sometimes with their hair tied up as it is, and the dark-haired players, just very similar statures. And that, unusually, it does not fall, but they'll go to the line. They just have established that position down low, and a couple big targets. That's difficult to match up against, and you're seeing Miller and also Monin. They can so well move the ball and set. Oh, that really is, that's a suggestion there, right there. When the ball has bubbled around the rim to that degree and found a way to fall, it could be your day. This one is strong. It will not be a point though for Germany. And Ouellette is going to have to go to the book of trickery, or just exceptional shooting. There was a little bit of the trickery from Lalonde. She tried to just spin that one against the grain, back over her head, and it will not go. But this is becoming an urgent time for Canada. What they've been doing so far has not quite been sufficient. They cannot to give up a defensive rebound. They reach in, the foul, and they've been a little bit at the wrong times, absent in their thinking and in their intention, the Canadians. And Germany have just been better at following up on their second chances in every moment that they've had to be called upon, and even those they've generated for themselves. They are deserving of this 8-point lead right now. That one won't go. And remember, Canada, if this one doesn't fall either, they've got to be in a position to take this rebound. It will go. So it's 9. That's Mona extending herself defensively and then just loses her balance. And they're going to suggest that Ouellette was in the course of shooting there. So the free throws from Canada right now, overall, 54%. And that's not good enough. They've been 7 from 13, so they've left 6 points at the free throw line. 6 would come in awfully handy right now. And Johnson looks on. He's been a little bit frustrated, you might say, by the way this has played out. And he's talking about 2 shots here. He said, why is this becoming even a debate? And they're suggesting that she wasn't in the course of shooting, and it's going to be an inbound for Canada. And Johnson in a debate over there with the referee. She tunes him out. And maybe that's a moment that again is reflective of how Germany have done the good work in the times they've made hay when the sun was shining. And over this 4th quarter and the 3rd as well, they've had 29 points to 18 in this 2nd half. And that's where this scoreline sits right now. That's the 11-point spread. It's all been constructed in these latter 2 periods. McLaughlin, she hits one. And that just looked to be rather a plucky shot. She pulled it out and just threw it up. It's for 2. They're through the half-century mark now to 51, and it's back within single digits. And right now, to take a line out of the movie Spinal Tap, the Canadians are going to have to be 1 louder. They're going to have to go to 11. They were 11 points out. It's now 9. But they're going to have to amp this thing up right beyond its limits and maximize everything they've got out on the floor right now to cut into this German side, because Germany have just been the more diligent and the more efficient of the 2 sides across the 4 quarters so far, particularly in the 2nd half. They gave up that lead that they established early, and they went in and they reset the decks at halftime. It's been a dominant performance, and the passing play there, that one will fall out, but they get the rebound. And that's the smaller player for Germany in there, picking that up. That's Brewer. And it's going to be Monin who takes another shot. If you keep getting 2 attempts at it every time, and they're good looks on the offensive rebound, well, of course you're going to have success, particularly when they shoot as well as they do. And Canada will have only themselves to reflect upon. They've just not been in those positions. And you wonder whether or not some of the injuries and the illnesses to McLaughlin are starting to be reflected in this output. You never want to have any excuses, but when you went down the injury report of McLaughlin, already out 4 months this year, that's going to have a tremendous impact over the course of the entire 12 months performance. And this is the peak of their athletic season. And all the travel and all of the being away for an extended period of time, there's only so much in the tank, isn't there? And that one will go wide, and it will miss. And that's Jan with the attempt, so she's had 13. McLaughlin was 6, 23 for Ouellette. They are the trio that offensively have contributed the most to the Canadian effort today. But another offensive rebound for Germany. Up again, a second effort, and it's in. And that is as clear as day as to where the Canadians have opened up the door for Germany. As Ouellette is going to take this ball, and from this distance, going to start launching threes. But at 13 points, the differential, Jan takes that feed in, and she equally attracts the immediate attention of this German defense and stripped. They've done that so many times today, Germany. We look at their steal rate, and if we tally them up, Monen with 3, Schoenman with 1, 2 for Miller, and Brewer, she gets a foul there, but that was pretty much a steal as well. And that will not go. Both shots will just slip from the rim. And Miller, uncontested, the full length of the floor. She with another couple for Germany. It'll take her now to 22. And a timeout is utilized here by Canada. And although it looks as though at this point, 15 points back, the results may have just been beyond their grasp, these are great teaching moments at the end of a match to make sure you have your side's undivided attention out here in amongst these 12,000 people watching and the thousands of millions around the world, making sure that you are entirely focused, you're positive, and you're keeping together. You never break. You might bend, but you don't break. You take the hard lessons along the way, compartmentalize them, and remember to put it all within the big picture at the end of your day's work.
Come in, let's go, come.
Canada now with control. It's McLaughlin. We're into the final straight of this match. Steal from three-point range. That just goes off the face of the rim, and Ouellette will come up with the rebound. The ricochet here. Can she go into a position to convert it? They are having a number of attacks at it, Canada. This for McLaughlin. This one has been 4 attempts, and none of them successful. So doing the best that they can, but a little bit of fatigue coming in. It's been a very focused German side. And this lady here, she sets the pace at the highest level, does Marika Miller. So does the captain, who just is backing away, receives that in motion. Look at these two. They're yin and yang. Perfectly synchronized, the offload from one to the other. Monen with a shot, this one off the rim. And for Ouellette, she's inside the last half minute. And Miller will just make sure she goes a country mile to try to get around to that ball. And she sends her into the rhubarb right there in front of the Canadian bench. So they'll look for a set play with 22.6. Utilize this as really ultimately one possession. And in live play, practice and execute a play that may be needed later in this tournament and work on it right here and now. He may have just woken up on the wrong side of the bed. They love it, don't they? Party time. Carnival season still a few months away. That's right. Remember, this is the winter months from June through to September in Rio de Janeiro. And you just really can't tell that entirely by the weather, more by the wind. Gives you an indication that this is not optimum season. They would be 40 degrees Celsius at times at the peak of their summer. And that in the Northern Hemisphere, generally the winter months. Look at the 3-ball from McLaughlin. And she puts up a triple play and pops it. And so this now within 12, it's all but been determined. It's just how the scoreline will sit at the end. And this is also a part to play. This is about how the score will be reflected in determining some of the criteria. It'll be the direct results against each other, but there may be the accumulation of points for and against that could be a factor. So the Brazilians, their main language, Portuguese. That's what you'll have heard the fans responding to in the background. This now the final ticks of the clock. And it seems almost like it has been an extended period these last couple of minutes. It's now going to the line for shots as a result of the fouls already committed by the Canadians. They commit another one, and Zayn will perch her chair right at this foul line. And she, with enough momentum, finds it over the front of the rim. And back-to-back points, 14 clear. Yan off to McLaughlin. McLaughlin gives it to Ouellette. And the big launch of a shot, it just grazes the front of the rim. But Germany feeling good about things now. They're 2-1. And it's a full-time result. Germany 68, Canada 54. And this is still preliminary action. And so both of these teams now will share the exact same record, but by right of Germany beating Canada, that will be setting them up ahead of the Canadians and how this bracket will finish. And that's why the celebration is so vehement. It's all about where they will sit 1 through 4. Of course, the Canadians disappointed, but it's time to do what all Paralympians do and show full respect and acknowledge the stronger performance today of Germany. They were the better side on the day. Overall execution, alert, aware, and attention to detail. A meticulous, well-crafted, and delivered German display. And across to the referees, as is the custom, they will go to the center of the court and acknowledge the family and friends that have come to support Germany. And equally, these Brazilian fans are in love with sport, and this, their showcase to the world. They are having a lot of fun, enjoying it with the athletes who are having the brightest stage to perform under. 12,000 in here. It doesn't get much better than this. And if it does, I would love to know just what is. That's the Canadians who have signed that, the thanking to Brazil for their support, their interest, their love of sport. And remember, put that result aside. It really is small potatoes in the big picture. This is a nation, Brazil, where 40 million people have an impairment in a population of just over 200 million. And if you've experienced it or seen it, the amenities here have still some way to go to make sure that there is equality across the whole social landscape. And this is a wonderful platform to shine the light on just how transformational Paralympic sport can be. The leading scorers, both Ouellette and Monin, are the equivalent. Yan, and there you really see the separation between Yan and the work coming in from Miller, an 8-point spread, but it's normally McLaughlin who carries that load. The shooting percentage, marginally better. Free throws, they were more consistent, the Germans. The defensive rebounds, more turnovers from Canada. They just took their moments, did the Germans, at the right times, and they knew how to take care of business. Look at the scoring in the second half, 39-23. That's the 16 points that really secured them this victory. So Canada will go into third place as a result of that, even though they're level on points, as a result of Germany head-to-head in this match here. Brazil still yet to play, and they haven't in this particular day, and they will. It's the quarterfinals that all of these teams are in search of. So a very impressive performance from both nations in the middle of this Group A. It's Germany and Canada that locked horns, and Canada had second place in the group prior to the match, but as a result of the victory, 68-54, now Germany goes second in Group A. There's still more action to come in this preliminary round. Who is going to go to the quarterfinals?
todos vocês aí. Todo mundo aqui na Arena Carioca 1 torcendo e vibrando pro seu time favorito. Daqui a pouco a gente volta.
Like a house of cards, broken seguinte, tem galera da Grã-Bretanha aí, tem gente da Alemanha, mas tem um monte de brasileiro que eu sei que vai escolher um dos times para torcer. So now I would like you who are supporting Germany to make some noise. Quem tá torcendo pra Alemanha? And now you who is supporting Great Britain, você que tá torcendo pra Grã-Bretanha, faz barulho nessa voz! Valeu! Thank you very much!
And the men's wheelchair basketball tournament continues. Great Britain have been great so far in Group B. You see the 3 victories for the matches they have played. Germany with the 1 victory and the subsequent 2 losses. That coming against Algeria, that was 97-41 for Germany. And this, you'll see the grouping right now, sitting 2 and 3. The Americans top of this Group B. It's the top 4 teams that will automatically go through, but you see there's not a lot of space, and this is really just jockeying for a position in the top 4, but there's no guarantee. This is the 4th of 5 in the preliminary round that both of these teams will play. So you mentioned the 6 teams. Every team will play each other, and then the determination of the automatic qualifiers for the quarter-final round. This has been a fabulous, as you see the shots up on the screen of the family environment and the real community feel. The Brazilians so proud of the hosting they have done, and equally the enjoyment and pleasure they get from Paralympic sport. It's the introduction now of both of these teams, and it's the Germans who are just now making their way out on the floor. They've got their warm-up tops on. They are in the black on the left, as you see, and through their lineup, their biggest threats. Bienek has been great. He has 11 points per game average over the 3 games they've played. Also Passivan, he really is a beauty. Here he is, number 11. And he is 39 years of age. He's just under 11 points, but there you saw Hulowski. He's 14 points, number 12. And then Baum. Baum is a tremendous shooter. He's averaged just over 23. He is as good a shooter as there is in this tournament, rounded out by Kohler. There's the entire lineup has been introduced, and they're their coach looking in charge of this one. That is Nikolai Zeltinger. He's been a part of this team now and led them. In the Paralympics now, 4 years ago, but this for Great Britain. They hosted those games in London, and they have their eyes set for a podium placement in Rio. Jama has shown a great scoring touch, 7 points, his average so far. Sagar is really one to be looking for. You see Lee Manning just coming out there, number 14. He's a big, strong player. Sagar just flashing past the camera there. And Origbemi, also very useful, very sturdy and dependable and quality lineup. They're their coach as well, Haj Bania. He has the assistant coach of Joey Johnson alongside of him, but it's the German national anthem that'll be played first.
Ladies and gentlemen, the anthem of Great Britain. Senhoras e senhores, o hino da Grã-Bretanha.
So the British men with the strong record right now, with the 3 victories up against Germany, they'll have their eyes equally set. We have seen just the German women in day 4, as well as the coaches exchanging pennants amongst each other. And this, the genuine moments, the calm before the storm. Passivan, really effective, so is Hulowski. And then you're seeing that entirety of that German team. And their leadership, very business-like is their approach. Nikolai Zeltinger. And the referees for this one, Thomas Payer. The umpires, Philip Haynes and Juan Uranula. So the coach, Haj Bania, he's been a part of this program, the GB wheelchair basketball program, for 16 years. He now leads the academy at Worcester University in England. And now with the full responsibility of the senior men's national program. Zeltinger, he's a veteran now of leading this side. You see a great spirit, smiles, and a sparkle in the eye. The pleasure they all take. Look at the crowd in here. That's 12,000 strong, and that's the way it has been inside Carioca Arena 1. This is the home to where the men's basketball tournament was played during the Olympic Games. But this the lineup: Bywater number 7, Pratt number 11, Sagar number 12, Warburton, such an effective teenager, number 13, and Manning also a big target. And he really has a few different options, does Hajbania. And he's smiling, feeling good about how they performed so far. To his right, you don't see on the screen there, is the former Canadian men's basketball player or wheelchair basketball player, Joey Johnson. And he was a standout, a part of those gold medal winning teams for the Canadians all the way up to London. It looks as though it'll be a tall order for them maybe in this one, but they're right in the hunt as well. This team, Passivan, such a useful player at number 11, but where do you go with them? Binek number 8 is outstanding, but they're a real sharpshooter. Number 14, Thomas Baum. He will give fits to anybody. He is as pure a shooter as there is in this tournament, and he will find the range from anywhere. Nikolai Zeltinger, he led this team at the 2012 Paralympic Games in London, and now the duties as well in Rio. Can they put themselves into realistic contention? This would be quite a scalp if they're able to take out GB in this one in the preliminary round. Baum, 25 years of age. You're looking at there a 3.0 classified player. So to refresh as you look at Bywater, Jama, Pratt, Sagar, and Origbemi, who will start in the lineup for Great Britain. Each player, depending on their level of function, has a numerical value apportioned to it. The higher level of function, a higher numerical value. The lower level, a lower numerical value. Lohman, Binek, Haluski, Haller, and Baum, the aforementioned. He really is a slick, skillful shooter, number 14 for Germany. So a 1.0, as we say, is the lower level of function all the way through the 4.5, and you have a total of 14 points cumulatively allowed on the floor at any one time amongst your 5 players. The results, the victories over Algeria, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and the host nation, Brazil. They proved themselves not to be the most gracious of guests, GB. They take out the host, 73-55. And this for Germany. The first 2 games, losses to the Islamic Republic of Iran and United States of America, and then the African representation coming from Algeria, they were able to double them up and some, 97-41. So everybody involved, high fives, the official currency for I get you, bud. We're in this together, and let's go get it. So hands have been shaken, and there really is. It's almost like a, well, it is. It's a celebration. It's as simple as that. You got to remember, all of these athletes, the Paralympic Games officially starting in 1960, and wheelchair basketball a part of it from then for the men's. Not until 68 in Tel Aviv did the women's competition come in. But this is one of the founding fathers of the Paralympic Games, this wheelchair basketball sport. So it's a foundational member, and it's helped to take it from what was the Stoke Mandeville Games in combination after the Second World War with the American veterans who were playing the sport on both coasts in North America, and then the two getting together, and there we go. They are sending in the sky hook right there. That one was arcing up and over and in to the basket. Sagar, he takes his first look at it. It's a little bit soft. Haluski gets a little bit of a rough ride. Origbemi comes in front of him, and that'll just be an inbound now. Haluski, I'd hazard a guess he's best part about 180 pounds. You see the development of the muscle in the shoulders and equally in the arms. That's obviously where all the strength comes from. But then it's the dexterity, it's the coordination, the hand-eye coordination, the shooting stroke, but so much going on to keep that ball active. They are as quick as the naked eye can see it with that ball movement. Germany right now, it's like a hot potato, as this will be taken by Bywater. He's a three-point specialist. And almost a collective exhale there, as any time you see a 3-ball bomber put him up and also hit the target. Well, it's just a moment of triumph, isn't it? Not quite at NBA range, just three-point arch, but that shot was setting up from three-point range. It'll go kicking off of the rim, and there is old slick hands as Thomas Baum gets his first touch of it, and he vibrates one around the rim. That is the German coach of the women's team. And Glinicky just watching from the sidelines. That one from Baum. That'll just wrap around the cylinder. And Pratt, a solid ball handler as well. They have probably about 5 spokes to their offensive construction. And what I mean by that is 5 different options that can score. The teams that have got here that have 2 dynamic players, well, they run out of gas. You need at least 3. If you've got 5, you got a chance of going deep. It all comes down to performance on the day, but GB and Germany both have depth and quality. Binek inside to Haluski, the offload before he tumbles. And he doesn't waste much time down. You hear just sort of the vibration of his chair. And that was, as you can see, the axles of his smaller wheels just sort of obviously flailing as he goes down, but these chairs, they take an almighty beating. Oh my, those are just sky loops. They could bring rain, some of those ones from Germany so far. They're up and just lofting through the air and then finding nothing but the bullseye. You see the good work there from Binek. He's trying to stay with the British player, and he left him for dust. He just cut back on a dime, and Binek was maybe not in as full control as he would have liked. So they're strapped right in to their chairs. You need to be, because if you're coming out at the moments of impact all the time, you're gonna get whiplash. So they're bolted in, and the chairs ultimately an extension of their body, as nimble and as quick as you will see in this tournament. The players here, Bywater, he's an absolute mobile specialist. He'll bounce it inside. He's gone into the pocket. He's in the heart of this German defense right now, right in the Black Forest. And it will be pulled back. And the defensive rebound into the Germans. Look at this, linking it together. It's like snakes and ladders as they put together this passing sequence. 1, 2, 3, fast break into Baum. And you can see him, he smacks the sideways high five, and more out of frustration than out of celebration. This is points that he normally just puts right into the bank. And he prevents himself from mouthing his exhale there. These players, as soon as you see, they'll see themselves up on a big screen inside the arena here. And these are great moments just to listen to the coaches in these timeouts. So talking about Haluski right there was Bania saying, listen, if he wants a 12 or 15 footer, if they're gonna beat us through him shooting those shots, that's fine. But he says it's everybody else that's coming to pick up the leftovers that you really gotta worry about. They're the hungry ones, because they will just nickel and dime you, chip you down, and break you down over a course of a match. So you have to make sure that they are attending to duty underneath the basket and not contesting shots sometimes that maybe have a low percentage to them. Jama, he's out and ready. And he, an average output for Great Britain of 7 points, but he's a 1.0. So what he does is he gives you the chance to have 2 4.5s out there. And then with that extra little bit of supplemental and secondary scoring, he just gives an extra dimension to this GB attack. Baum has not been able to be as sterling as you have seen him in this tournament. He misses all 3 shots he's taken so far from the line. He's had 2 points of the 6. Binek with the other 4 for Germany. And as you can see, we're almost 4 minutes gone, and Great Britain still with the goose egg on the board. Out to Jama. He could shoot from there, but he goes down to Pratt. Pratt's wide open. He'll take that look, and he'll put it in for 2. He just nicely rolling to a line, favoring that right hand, and a little bit of a fadeaway roll as he gets the full extension. Binek will try to cut this corner, force Bywater to just front up against him. This again is that big looping shots, and you don't see that as often. And the reason is because it's such a high extension coming from the player, away from their line of sight, which is judging the distance to the rim. It's an uncharacteristic shot attempt. It's beautiful to watch, it's majestic. But the confidence for a player to have from the release point to when it finally does arrive at the rim, it's quite seldom. So you don't see it as often. You see more of a direct line from the release point, which is obviously closer to the floor, to that 10-foot height of the rim. So it's rare and it's special to watch, and particularly as he's been so accurate, other than the last shot there. But Bywater in his first couple of matches in this tournament came out and popped 3s on his first attempt. So it's like he was loaded for bear, comes out to get things started, and nothing like a 3-ball in your arsenal, and also to get you rolling into a match. Oh, they were running out of time. And have they got it back? They do. Germany, that shot was up as the horn sounded, and because it goes off the rim, they get the benefit of the Haluski shot on the rebound. So just to clarify there, that shot was in the air. The horn sounds, it hits the front of the rim. This is a new rule in the last couple of years in wheelchair basketball. It's the identical to basketball now. And it just gave them the resetting of another 14 seconds on the shot clock. Haluski is in a position there in the key, and he scores. Zeltinger looks as though he could be trading in the German stock market. Hands in his pockets. He's got the dress shirt on, all business. And I say that only because some of the coaches more so choosing to wear athletic wear in these environments. A spinning move. Binek continues to work. He's pounding this glass. He can't, in fact, get the return from all of that diligence. And is Pratt just poising? Oh, he almost got the defenseman to commit to him. Bywater, he needs to get rolling. He has not been the sharp shooting Terry Bywater that we have seen in this tournament so far. And just to give you a reflection of what he's been producing. Baum, the offensive rebound. It's out. Binek will just get it past, but he's blocking the intention from Origbemi to try to get to him. Bywater's got no points yet. He's taken 5 shots, and his productivity is 13 points on average in the tournament. So it's just that he's taken 5 shots and he's not been able to convert as yet. He's a 4.5 classification, the 33-year-old. Brown just talking about tempo with Pratt. Just comes over and gives him that churning motion of how they just need to create movement. And they've been able to just slow down the German scoring. This a possession to bring it within 2. And that is silky. You can hear the sound of that from Chowdhury. And it's just, well, for a basketball player, it's got to be one of the sweetest sounds. Hitting the threads as that will just go in, uses the back rim. And Haller, he's got his shirt tucked in to and around the back of his chair. Well, that's his particular style. And that's what he likes to do, makes him feel reinforced in there. And an inside pass to Segar. Now he gets himself going. He's really had a great tournament so far. He averages a little over 16 points a game, so taking a while to get him rolling. That's his first 2 points. And there again, Vinek. And he puts the two hands together in celebration of his great return. That, and I haven't quite found how I want to best reflect it, but it just is a triumphant way to shoot the ball. It's a confident approach, but it's just got flair to it, a little more style. Segar, that really, he didn't waste long. He got the two hands together, and then right at the shooting point, he released it. It was just the confidence in the one hand. He's just gonna flick the wrist. He dropped the first one. He does the second one too. He's done that thousands of times before. He's 2 from 2 from the line. He's a very emotional player. Loves to play up tempo, the 34-year-old. Loves to get involved, equally celebrate those moments of success. He's right in, he strips, that's Chowdhury rather. It's in a better position coming from the backside. They both with the same haircuts. Haluski. That's what they're suggesting, maybe just to leave alone, but you don't want to for long. He'll hurt you inside and out. Close to the basket there. Look at that ball movement. It's maybe a little bit of a rush shot, and you haven't quite seen just what Baum can bring to the table yet. He shoots that one up in hopes that maybe if he does get fouled en route, that at least he'll go to the free throw line, but he didn't take the full amount of attention required to make sure he was accurate enough. Chowdhury's gonna take here a look here, not sure why he didn't. And that one was potentially a result of the lack of concentration. Segar follows it up, and it looked as though Chowdhury was looking for a preferred option. He had the shot available to him, and now we're level at 12s and inside the last minute of this opening quarter. And I think in search of trying to find his central feed, Chowdhury was just maybe becoming fixated on the fact that he wanted to make a pass. He actually had the best position on the floor. Here he is, he's turned it over. He's gonna keep it in the floor, he will. And that's gonna be the shot clock expiring. It's gonna be a GB, oh, they miss it. I had pretty much locked it on the score sheet, and then they just leave it on the floor and not on the board. Those 2 points. They'll be kicking themselves for that. So the buzzer sounded. Basically Germany running out of their shot clock allowance. Chowdhury running out of the court side and going right into the advertising hoarding. And then the full breakaway in, and it cannot be converted into 2 points for GB. You're not gonna get it any easier than that. Pretty much all alone from the three-point line rolling in. That is up and over the top, and it was more of the angle that Bianek had taken with speed and then trying to open up his shoulders from that left side with the right shot that he ends up contorting himself and spiraling, spinning there, and then he falls. But Chowdhury is gonna loop it over Kenny. He's gonna have to be quick, and they see out the opening 10 minutes. Both of these teams level at 12 points. And their confirmation of it at quarter time, 12 apiece between Great Britain and Germany. This is the men's wheelchair basketball from the Carioca Arena #1 Group B action in the preliminary round. These Paralympic Games from Rio, they have been a real shot in the arm. So well received and so well attended. 100% from the line, Great Britain. Both teams in and amongst the same. There really isn't a whole lot of disparity there, other than Germany getting those offensive rebounds to their credit, 4-1. So it's moved from a 40-minute game down to a 30 as they are level at the quarter time mark. And both of these teams have a real variety to their attack. Bywater has not scored yet. He is the co-captain, he and Brown. But Pratt, Sagar, and equally Chowdhury providing the 12 points. And for Germany, it's been Baum, he only has 2. Haller has 2. Haluski with 2. Bienek with 6. So 4 scores for Germany, 3 for Great Britain. And neither of them have been particularly efficient as yet. They're sides that can shoot up into the 50% on their day, in and around 60. And there you see another example of it. Just not as clean with their attempts offensively so far, either side. And that's pretty. It's our first look at Pasavan. He comes into this match, 39 years of age. He averages double digits for Germany, 39, and he looks like he's got another decade in him in this sport, the way he plays. He's so purposeful, so effective. Sagar also plays with very similar energy. And it's down. There he is, out taking care of business. And he'll go to the line for the bonus point. Now you're seeing Warburton coming into the game. He's the teenager. He will give a little bit of extra energy to Great Britain. 19 years of age, a 2.0. But he really is capable of taking some of the offensive load and distributing it throughout this lineup. Pratt, we haven't seen him really take it yet. He gives it and defers to Sagar, and that's a little bit surprising because he can score too. So they're looking at just a little bit reticent sometimes, GB. They are 3-0, and they've been confident in their approach so far in this tournament. Decision making is key. Be continuous and generally go with your first instinct. You'll get a reward. Look at that from downtown. It's a 2-pointer. The Pasavan has come right in here. And he's got himself 6 points, 100% from the field. 3 from 3. Warburton needs to shoot, but between Warburton and Pratt, they both look a little bit uncertain. Chowdhury elects to go to Brown, but it looks as though Chowdhury's in a good position to shoot. He's got to take it. There he does. He scores. And that's what they need to be. What you're seeing from Pasavan is a veteran leader who's coming out, leading from the front, and just taking his chances as they are available. And there, the return. So he's got 4 points in the 3 minutes that he has played. The feed inside. And Baum cannot get the ball to fall. And Brown, he's a captain this side, but he holds things together. He's always surging. It's not so much of an offensive threat, but there's the contact against him. And the foul going against Germany. Back upright again. So it's Heimbach who comes right into Brown. He'll take a shot. Great Britain need A little more consistently, Pasavan. He just, with the offload, sets it up for Baum. This should be a score. They don't convert it, though. And Baum goes right out the end of the arena, and I'm not sure whether he runs into the cameraman and gets himself into some difficulty there. We're all following the shot and seeing whether it's going to fall, but he's upright. He's made of stern stuff. He's not just the skillful shooter, as we've seen throughout this tournament. Every one of these men play this game, and they get right back up without a second flinch. And the women do too. A couple nations that just still needing to learn how to get back up. When they're on their backside, maybe go to their side and onto their front to try to use their strength to elevate, but it's not that easy. That core strength is necessary. Going through a sticky little wicket there was Brown. He likes to play a physical brand. But this now level at 18. Pratt, like to see him just get going with his shooting. Sagar will use the full circumference of the rim, and he gets it and finds a way just to knock it down. And for Great Britain, the first time that they've had the lead in this match. You'll remember, Baum really hasn't got going yet for Germany. And Haluski's just gone a little bit quiet as well. So just one of these passages for both teams. Pasavan just trying to carry the mail. He's doing that exceedingly well right now, with both Baum and Haluski just trying to get their offensive sights going. He's just taken this situation and grabbed it by the scruff of the neck and dragging it forward. He's got 8 points. He now leads this side. So a couple for Haluski, a couple for Baum, and these are players that are up in the 20s or capable of that across the duration of a match. The give and go. Pratt with 4 points so far. To Warburton with a shot, the teenager, and that will not go. And Pasavan again, right through the middle of this defense. He is no stranger to shooting that ball if he's got any little bit of room. But he distributes it so well. Just got an all-round game. Pratt seems to be looking to want to also be a passer rather than a shooter. He's grabbed himself some space here. And they will, in fact, work that around the rim. Another 2. And GB again in front by a pair. Ball movement, it's up. And those shots that they attempt to make, they hustle them, obviously, in anticipation of defensive pressure. And you just got to wonder whether just an extra half second could be so much more efficient. If they go in, oh, of course, no issues. But Pratt, that looks to be a straight line. It didn't quite have the distance. So jockeying back and forth in the scoreline at the moment, and it just hasn't quite found a rhythm of flow. Both teams counteracting each other with the scores and equally defending well, not allowing any runs or any one player to really start going. It's been Pasavan in the most that has been the most successful over the last 4 or 5 minutes. Lohmann, Drew Miller, Bienek, Magenheim, and Pasavan now in for Germany. Bienek is the one who likes to shoot these high arcing shots. Pasavan with the give and go. He tries to take it with one hand. This is going to be what should be a score for Warburton. He'd be surprised if he didn't. He does cash it in, and the right hand will just find a way. So he gets on the board. And a 4-point advantage. And Great Britain looking good for their position so far. Bywater has not got going for them. And Warburton now with his first two. And that's unusual with Bywater. So he has been sitting and watching. He's had 639 so far in this match as we're coming to the end of this opening half. And Pratt, he's got it in his locker as well. Chowdhury and Pratt back and forth. And Sagar, what an offload there. This for Chowdhury inside, and you're starting to see the ball movement returned equally by GB. And looking on, Vanya is just keeping a watchful eye over his team's performance right now. They are executing as requested, but they're gonna have to continue to pay attention to the small details. Look at that shot from Pasavan again. He is great. He's just so resourceful and just a great decision maker. And I can't remember a time where I've seen him make a direct mistake or a missed shot that wasn't just matter of course. Sagar double pumps in celebration there. Pasavan just allows him to finish up with his exhale. And that is a man pleased with the return of that effort, and he'll go to the line. And the foul, as you see on it too. So a 3-point play. Doesn't waste any time, does he? Oh, he's cashed it in. He is leading this British side from the front. And he's come out in prior matches and really only had 14, 15 minutes of work, but he's put up 12 points or so, so he doesn't play the entirety. That, whether they've been saving him for deeper in this tournament and just spreading that load, possibly. But right now, he's peaking. Quick ball movement, Pasavan, he's the countermeasure, and he finds a way just to keep this within touching distance. His shooting, his percentage, it's officially 86%, 6 from 7 for 12 points. That's lights out. Off the rim. Oh, and he has it. It just slips out of his hands, and he will be ruining that one. I think just momentarily turning to look to see where the pressure was coming from, and he just catches the ball across his knee. and ends up losing it from his grasp. Working both, and it will roll out inside this last minute. And Bianek would love to get himself offensively rolling again. He came out so quickly with those 6 points, with those long extended shots, arcing high up into certainly above the backboard height. And then perfect, just catching the netting. But he's been slower since. Look at that, that's from Chowdhury. And that's just a perfect. It's like striking a match, just that sound. Boom, it's just one of those iconic sounds that everybody knows just what's happened there. Passivan with a long-range effort. That's rather ambitious though, but he's capable of it. And they're starting to put a little bit of distance between themselves and Germany or Great Britain. At halftime, they have a 31-24 lead, and that seems to have really evolved out of just the latter stages of that opening half. Chowdhury producing more so than he has so in this tournament. And he absorbing and also just impacting that score line. Bywater has not scored yet, but that has been that void filled by Chowdhury. 3 from 3 from free throws. The shooting very similar for both of them. But it has been just some of that work, as we mentioned. We'll go through the British scoring. 10 from Chowdhury, and that's where you would see possibly Bywater. And if we go back really to look over his production, 13 points a game, so that really, it's right on course. In fairness, he's kind of ahead of the curve, but having one of those big games for himself. And then the other points, Sagar 13, Pratt 6, and Warburton 2. They have so many different looks. Munn we haven't even seen yet, but these, some looks of the first half of action we've seen GB holding court. Both teams with the benefit of the 15-minute break in the third quarter now awaiting in the men's wheelchair basketball. Great Britain almost feels as though they just kind of snuck into that lead. They had been working hard, and maybe some of the players, as I mentioned, that had been relied upon heavier in this tournament, more heavily, shall we say, offensively, didn't have to, as there was other options. And equally, Baum, though, has been stuttering so far for Germany. He'll have to get going. And the unit, as they're just high-fiving and acknowledging each other, as they do, getting ready to go out onto the floor. And Bywater there, number 7. He hasn't scored yet today, 6 minutes and 39. You see Joey Johnson just giving him a tap on the back and making sure that they just stay focused on the job at hand. It's about the end product. And GB, with a victory here, have all but guaranteed themselves a quarterfinal position. Germany, though, they feel they're going to have to guarantee themselves a spot and want to make sure they're in a position. So they get a point for competing in a match, 3 points for the victory. And then 2 if they had to go to extra time, but we haven't seen that so far. This has just been good ball movement. Chowdhury gets that off, I think, in time, and he will score it again. He is stroking it right now for GB, and it just is coming thick and fast. Germany, Iluski, we've seen him be so effective, and right now, he's not had that same game. Pratt, very serviceable player. Sagar has been absolutely dynamic from that position. 13 points he now has. It's gone up to 15 with that score. And this is where you're looking to really Haluski and Baum, and where they're sitting, just 2 points apiece. They have to really start bringing something for Germany. Here's Haluski. And in a more confident vein of form, he might have shot that one. Baum is stripped. It goes back to Binek. And Germany are getting pressurized by GB. There is the big long ranger. And he sends it in. And up as well. As that arcs, it goes off the rim and out. Pratt will take the open look. Too much time and space, and Germany electing to take away Sagar underneath the basket. But when you've got the accurate shooting from Pratt there, that really has worked into his advantage as they retreat and stay off of him to take away that low threat. And if you've got that option and they're performing for you, it just opens up everything else. Binek down low, he skips it into Haluski. Has it come before the shot? I think so. Just contact on the hand prior to him getting it. But look at this lead now, all of a sudden to 13 points. It was 7, and now with 6 points clear in this third quarter, Germany have got to really turn things up right now. So a couple losses for Germany and the one victory. Another loss here in 1 and 3. You get 3 for the win, 3 for each one that they play in, so a total of 6. But you saw the distribution of points. Everybody picking up something. So this could really become a shuffle of the deck in this men's pool as to who's going to come out into that quarterfinal seeding. Kept alive, but they run out of time, and simply with the horn sounding, it didn't matter that Great Britain had touched it last. They will take the benefit of the inbound. And you wouldn't think that he was 13 points out in front. They've been very attentive to the small details there on that GB bench, and they're feeling good about their work so far. This has been a timeout called by the German coach, Seltinger. And he knows this is make or break time from here. Great Britain with the inbound. Chowdhury, Brown, Pratt, Sagar, and Warburton. So the teenager Warburton out there, he will take this first touch of it. And by no means is the scoreline flattering GB. They've created it, but it's just been a dismantling of what has been a well-assembled German side that has just looked a little bit lost offensively. If they haven't got the field goal percentage from Baum and from Haluski, they've just come a little bit unstuck, and GB continue to put that pressure on them. So this was contact off of the ball that has been blown and still sitting is Baum with just the 2 points. And that's the difficult part when you're into foreign territory. You need to just work your way through it. And if he could catch a light, well, this thing is not got away from them yet, but they really, in the next few minutes for Germany, before they let things just slip a little too far, there is the delight. You see the cotton in the ears. It does get that loud in here, and particularly for a youngster. I'd say well under a year, that little person may need that protection against it. But for everybody else, good times, a party going on in Karaoke Arena number 1. Just stripped from the backside. That's Chowdhury. They won't count that one. The shot well after the whistle taken. Holler just getting the hand on that one, but Chowdhury shooting 6 from 7. He's taken a couple looks from 3-point range, so 86%. Nobody's touching that, but Pasavan has come back in. He's the only one, and he is exactly the same. He's 6 from 8 from the field, and from 2-point range, he's 6 from 7. He did take the 1 3-pointer, it didn't fall. So those two are alone on the scoreboards for the respective sides, and now Warburton is coming to the offensive party for GB. That's 4 points for him now. And this is a very workmanlike performance from Great Britain. The way they're going about their business, they are just totally focused and playing just highly effective basketball. Pasavan knows that he is the most likely to get a return from his effort, so he takes a shot, but it's a little wayward of the basket. And Pratt internally to Sagar. The offload out, and again, Pratt more of the architect as he distributes it. Chowdhury's going to take the lane right in, and he's scored another couple. He's up to 14 now. So he's at least a point a minute in the floor time that he has had. And he's now at 88% from the field. Haluski has 3 GB defenders all around him. Baum just cannot get an open look. He throws up a shot, and that is neither really a shot or a pass. You're really starting to see that pressure telling. And relatively expressionless, isn't he? The British coach, Haj Bania. I think what you're seeing is a coach very pleased with how well his team is executing today. And you do not want to outwardly show that. I'm sure that'll be a conversation only in their changing room, but this is a team with designs on a medal in Rio. There's no need to be patting yourself on the back extensively in the preliminary round. They're all building blocks to ultimately getting yourself into position. There on the fast break, and some easy points there. Uncontested Heimbach is the 1.0 classified player, and he gets his first couple. There's over the top. Just a winging right hand. I think Chowdhury will shoot again, but this really, the distribution of the ball down to Brown. And they're saying that that's a foul against. Paluski over to Passivan. The shot is there. This one much closer. Pratt just left out here. They are just going to let him shoot it. It's Chowdhury right now that they know needs immediate attention. Warburton can shoot from there over to Pratt, and he just seems reticent to shoot it. And they just keep going to Sagar or equally to Chowdhury as the veteran players to take the shots, and equally it is managing the clock. But just from what I've seen in this tournament, Phil Pratt would like to see him shoot some more. I think he's got that in his game. He's got 8 points, but he's a player that could be right up there in the teens and giving this triangulation to Great Britain. But they're doing something extremely well. They're up by 15, and they've just kind of taken the life out of this building and equally out of Germany. It's Salutsky, though, at the line right now. And he just threads one right through the rim. So Bywater, Jama, Pratt, Sagar, and Orogbemi are now the 5 on the floor for Great Britain. And Halutsky hits both of those, so it's within 13. And he's a player that just needs to start to feel it. That he's just really been crossed out and muted down by Great Britain's defense. They have seen a chink in just how they have formalized themselves and constructed their offense as the GB coaching staff, and they have really negated him in this one. There is Baum, who goes up. He uses just full concentration to get that off the rim. It does fall. He goes down in a heap, though. And to the line. An extra point could take this to 10, and it does. So this now, the last 5 points coming from Germany. They've taken it down to a 10-point differential, and they need a little bit of a run here. They need to stop Great Britain from here and then come back again with another counter. Bywater still waiting for his first points. To Pratt, the offload. And Jama, number 10, Orogbemi, number 15. And Terry Bywater coming across with the flashy shoes, the orange ones. Generally, though, he's got to be feeling just a little bit frustrated. You can see it in his body language. He's just been so capable offensively, but it's just one of those days in the moment. There are times in which to have your teammates pick you up. There's a timeout now being utilized by Germany. And this, as they've got it within 10, is a time for reflection. And with 3:15 remaining in this third quarter, they have to really make hay from here. This has to be down in single digits. They can get it within a half dozen. They would really have done well. Germany with that timeout now with possession. Pasavan, Haluski, Baum, all legitimate threats to score. It's Pasavan with the ball. It's into Haluski. He's going to muscle into position. That's where they need to be. It's down to 8. And it's been a 7-point run right now for Germany. It was 10-2, and then they've just gone on a string of 7 points. As far as in this third quarter of action, it's 10-9, the advantage for GB overall in this third quarter. So they had a lead of 9, and then they're just by 1 now, and that's the 8-point difference as you see. And it was 9 at halftime. Pratt to move it in. Sagar, he'll just have to lead this team. And that's the shooting that we have seen in this tournament that's right in the locker of Phil Pratt. And he delivers some more. He's got 10 points, but he can do even more. He makes it look so easy when he takes it that you almost feel as though the best thing for GB sometimes is for him to shoot. So Thomas Baum at the line to shoot. And this, a little nibble from that 10-point advantage. It's down to 9. 25-year-old. And that one's just kicked out. This has been a real stilted game as far as either of these teams getting into a real flow or a lot of real continuous action. We've been at the free throw line a lot. And he'll drop this one. So within 8, so an infringement there on his second gives him another crack at it. And this for Bywater. He's going to move it around the Jama. Really waiting for Bywater to shoot. He's been reluctant to do so. That's a great pass. He's going to shoot there, and the foul prior to it. At least have the confidence of getting one off and having it fall. So they wave it. It was just the contact between the German and the other British player there. It was Orogbemi. So Bywater comes across here now. Pratt will be his feed into the floor. You see the movement coming from Jama around. This is Pratt. If you give him a look, he'll take it. There it is again, one more time. He's got it. Money, bankable. He's got a dozen. He enjoys his return. He's just he's a natural shooter as well. Just a gifted player. Skillful, thoughtful, good work rate. And one of those ball carriers, ball handlers that you can put in a situation at any point in time. That's another one right there, Pasavan, who just flares the bottom of the mesh one more time as it kicks up. That's a perfect switch as he's found the range. So just trading shots here. Sagar is all alone. There's nobody able to defend his size and his positioning. Not sure where Haluski was on that one. That has been evident that there has been an exposure there defensively against Germany in his matchup. Baum needs to try and hit it. It's Sagar, gets a hand on it, knocks it out. He's having an outstanding game. Is Sagar, he'll come up that left side right now into the key area. Bywater from range, he goes off the rim. And again, just getting in, disrupting things, disjointing play. And that's now 6 shots from Bywater. Nothing has fallen yet. Haluski, that's back-to-back games. We've seen him just run the wheel right off of his chair. You can see now the back wheel. It's just off the floor by a half an inch. So obviously the majority of his body weight being supported by the bigger wheel, which allows obviously greater return for each time you push it. Feeding internally, Haluski. He'll take the shot. Pasavan with the feed and the assist on the play. That wraps around the rim and off the glass and down. And reaching over. Bywater again, just feeling as though he can't find that rhythm. Another shot that he takes just after the whistle. So that's incidental contact prior to the shot. The whistle, as you heard, was already blown. Last seconds, Pratt with an opening. He feeds it to Sagar. He'll get it off and he'll score. And they right now, GB, have been clinical, playing this game from top to bottom. And their shot execution, Sagar, he's operating at 67%. And I thought maybe the better look again was from Pratt. He gives it over though, and it's 19 for Sagar at three-quarter time. And back and forth, a single digit to a double digit lead. But after three quarters, Great Britain 49, Germany 39. And this is crucial in Group B action in the preliminary round. So in the 50% is where GB's shooting. Not as strong, obviously, from Germany. But other than that, it's the steals. The steals, 7 of them. Nothing from Germany. They just have not been as busy all over the floor. And Great Britain have just found balance and efficiency much more easier to find than has Germany today. Underway in the fourth quarter. GB have really been squeezing the neck of this match. And with the opening score here, Bywater, his first couple points, and just been anticipating those for now 3 quarters gone. He takes the first look in the fourth because he has started his matches in the ones that I have been involved with 3-pointers. Right off the opening possession, he's been successful. So he really lights the fire offensively, creates that energy. And without him providing it today, it really has been interesting just how productive Great Britain have been at different dynamics at different times against a different opposition. That's what is the hallmark of a successful program. Just finding different ways to win and how to utilize your talent. Pratt to a baseline position. He won't rush it. He'll come back up again. He's had a good look there. He offloads it to Jama. Over to Bywater. Bywater will shoot it. And he does. He works the entirety, all 360 degrees of the iron. But it will go down. And now a little bit of a different look and spirit. Bomb he's got to equally be feeling it right now. There, a good return though, the feed up. And into Hunback, who's got 4. Baum with 7 points. Pasavan 14. Haluski 8. And they're okay numbers, but they've just had the edge taken off them in relation to what they've been able to produce, and now you're seeing Pratt. Every time he takes a look, it's available. Equally, he's converting it. He's got 14. Pasavan off the glass. Absolutely world class. For my money, should be in the All-Star selection across this tournament for the men, without doubt. He comes on as a secondary player, but he has first-line numbers. And yes, a little bit older is Pasavan at 39, but his productivity suggests as though he's got, as I said before, probably another decade in the sport. He could play it. He's just smart enough, strong enough. He makes good, high-quality decisions. And with the shooting that he's been executing here, just again, look at his numbers. 73%. Those are on another level. Origbemi are now to inbound for Great Britain. And they'll just adjust that. Now Jama coming across. Bywater down to Jama. Jama will take a crack. That one, oh, it stays. It's almost as if it had a little bit of a suction on it, just to prevent it from edging over the long side of the iron, and it just pulls it back in. Jama with his opening 2 points. Haluski all alone. That's easy too from there. Pratt takes the contact from Pasavan, and the two Ps collide. Pratt just snaps his way back into position. They almost play as if they don't recognize each other, don't even acknowledge one another. Those two competitors, they have been up against each other all night. Pratt, the much younger of the two, obviously. He's 22 years of age, but you can see he is a star in the making in this sport. Already showing his pedigree, but there's a lot ahead of him as well. It was last touched by Haluski, and this for Great Britain to inbound. Pratt does really take his time. Such a patient shooter this time, however. The angle not as precise as it needed to be. Pasavan, he'll push into open court. He throws on the brakes. That's all he needs, a little bit of a hitch that just gives him enough settled space in which to go up with a shot there. And he cashes it in. He really is a special player. Jama, as he got 4. And this time, doesn't quite have the draw on it to pull it back down through the rim. He's going again, it's Pasavan from 3. And he knows it's kind of getting that time. With 6 minutes remaining in the quarter, potentially the match. Bywater's going to do the same thing. There he is. That's what they've been waiting for. They'll celebrate that one as big old 3-point bomber. And now you see a little bit of the swagger that comes from a Terry Bywater performance. Look at this, the around the back. Pratt over to Bywater. He's going to pop it up. It's still live, but no GB player able to get it. Bywater goes, and he's basically doing a 50-yard dash and a 40-yard gym here. Straight into his own bench, and lucky not to have been injured. That's the effort and energy that he plays with that's been exciting throughout the entirety of this tournament. And both of his teammates make sure that he doesn't end up going right into the DJ booth there. And he would like to mix a tune or two. He's now in the mix. He's found a three-pointer. He's kept one alive. He's a player that plays with his heart on his sleeve. Binek will return to action. The German forward. And so the 5 on the floor, Lohan, Heimbach, Binek, Pasavan, and Kohler. So both Haluski and Baum now coming out. Just getting a sense that they've tried those twos together, and it just hasn't been working for them today. Pasavan is just going to offload it. There's a foul. Are they going to count it as well? They are. That's in the course of shooting. So they've gone to Kohler, who comes in. He gets 2. And this is the decision obviously made by Seldinger, that the 2 players that he's been counting on have just gone a little dry today, and he's been forced to have to go and look for other options in which to generate the offense. And he gets 3 points just as quick as that from Kohler coming in. Pratt won't rush it. These moments, whilst they might seem only just flashes, they just help to mediate the game, not allowing Germany to create transition and energy from their play. They've just kept this at an even keel. And Pratt's possession of the ball has done that in a large part today for Great Britain. Binek, when he misses that one to the long side. Chowdhury, haven't seen him putting it up in a while. So he's just played under half of the game. He's got 14 points from it. Warburton down to Pratt. Warburton can shoot from there. He'll take it. And it goes off the rim. If they could have got the offensive, they would have taken it right into their clutches. Pasavan from 3. The rebound for Sagar. He brings good energy, as always, right through that center lane, pulling a couple German defenders with him. And Chowdhury with the feed into Pratt. He just punches it on. It's still alive, right into Sagar, off to Chowdhury. That really is a great point from GB. That really is the basketball shuffle. Wheelchair basketball style, as it went from one lap to another as quick as you could pass a note. Binek around, and you'll have to hold. He comes back against himself. Shooting from that side into a good area. The shot clock, though, just expiring as he was releasing it. Pratt with those soft hands, just distributing that ball so well. Smooth, quick touches. Chowdhury from the free throw line. He is a maestro. The sweet violin of his 2-point touches. He continues to play a tune for Great Britain, and it is to their liking, without a doubt. He's now moved himself up to 18 points. And just great fluidity. Equally has Pratt. This performance from GB must be giving them great confidence going deep into this tournament. They have found different ways to be effective. We haven't seen Simon Munn in this one. He is now the 7-time Paralympian, 48 years of age. He's never won gold, silver, bronze, but is gold something realistically for GB in his tournament? This kind of performance suggests that maybe it is. Seeing Germany so far, I was impressed with the different weapons that they had. It was a quiet day, of course, for Baum and Haluski, but they're a team that has enough about them that they have ideas equally for a medal in Rio. But this is a little bit of a nod to what might be in store come the end of this tournament, the way GB has played. Pratt to just take this up and across the line. He's looked the most comfortable when the ball is in his hands. It almost looks as though it's like meditation for him. He's totally in the zone, and so is Sagar down in that low-key area. And you see a little bit of the frustration. He throws the forearm smash the way of Brown. That's Simon Brown, the co-captain of this side. And Brown hasn't had any points today, but he does carry a lot of minutes in those arms and in that mind of his. And equally right across that body, there does become that element of fatigue through a short tournament like this. When you're playing against the best, there is that further extension of the energy you do have because you're anxious. Equally, you know you're going to have your hands full if you're not right on your game. Chowdhury just takes it underneath the line. And Pratt just brings it into his world where things just slow right down. That pass is just perfect. He just stops, breaks, distributes it. And I can't think of a time that he has passed today where he hasn't been able to complete it. Just look across. He's not turned the ball over once. He's had 2 steals and he's had 7 assists, but not 1 turnover. There's been only 4 from Great Britain throughout this match. For Germany, their turnovers today, it's been 10. So there is a big swing. If you score from those 6, there's 12 points. And that puts this game within 2. So turnovers, ball management, never to be underestimated how much of a factor that is. And if you got a good ball handler, you really do have a player that could take you to the medal podium. Chowdhury handles it as well too, around the back, just for a little bit of flair, and the hands shaking. Bianek as well, and acknowledging this crowd even before the seconds count down. That's a little bit of style. They'll be feeling good about it, and that says something right there. It's a little thing, but any competitor knows if you are celebrating before the full time, that wasn't insulting. That was just a celebration of just how good Great Britain were in this one. 66-52 over Germany full time in the men's wheelchair basketball. You might have just saw a little bit of what's to come in this tournament in Rio. Get in, says Phil Pratt. Well, that's what he was saying to the basketball all day as he put it up in the air. It was following and obeying his command as he put it on the board in droves today. His total, 14 points. He played every one of the minutes today, did Pratt. And that's what I'm talking about. Game management, ball management. In the mind of that man there, the coach, ran through Phil Pratt today. And he really controlled things. Sagar also, 40 minutes of play. Those two were world class in this GB performance, and they acknowledge everyone in this arena, particularly, of course, the traveling support of their own friends and family. The Germans, equally the same. 12,000 strong, and the millions that are watching around the world What a celebration, what a party in Rio, these Paralympic Games. When you look at the body language from Germany as they assemble themselves, Sagar 21, Chowdhury 18, Pratt, and not to be underestimated what Chowdhury did too. His scoring was excellent. He played 24-52 in the match. The overall stats and the shooting percentage, yes, it was marginally better. The defensive rebounds, yeah, they had the advantage too. Points from turnovers, they didn't turn it over as much, but it just was a clean game from Great Britain. But the dejection and the disappointment from Germany suggested they saw a team, Great Britain, that were better today and might be just playing a little bit better in this tournament. 66-52, the full-time score. 17-13 in that final quarter. They were balanced and consistent throughout. GB now go top of the group after 4 games. United States still to play their 4th. Germany will sit in 3rd position. They look as though they're going to be able to find a way, but still games to be played. Brazil, Islamic Republic of Iran, and Algeria. So that could be a slippery slope as a result of that performance from Germany. They've worked hard, but they may have just come up a little bit short on the court. They haven't, however, with the fans here. What another performance again, and a spectacle of Paralympic sport as Kohler enjoys a moment or two with his Brazilian faithful.
So, you know, in London it's still heartbreaking now to finish 4th place. So hopefully this time in Rio, I never want to feel that sadness again.
And Great Britain, with that disappointment 4 years ago in the Paralympic Games in London of finishing 4th, have come here to Rio, and they have crystallized as a team. They have quality, they have depth. They look really good. They're now top of Group B in this men's wheelchair basketball competition. More to come from the preliminary round.